Hello, welcome back to the Arturia Prophet V video series. This is the last video in which we're going to be focusing on the Prophet V. We'll be moving over to the VS next. And I basically want to cover everything we've not already dealt with in the interface. First things first, let's have a look at the glide options. So glide is called Portamento in many synthesizers, and it's basically where we slide or glide from one note to another like a violin might. Glide is currently set, but there is no glide. Those notes aren't gliding anywhere. If I engage Legato on, which is one of the two glide options, if I hold the low note, you hear it? Now we've got a glide. It's pretty quick, 60 milliseconds. If I make that longer, now what legato means is that you only get that effect if you're holding multiple keys down simultaneously. So here I'm holding C. I'm still holding C when I press the next C up, C4. I'll let go of C3, press C3 and we slide back down to it. If I now play C3, take my hands off, play C4, we get static notes. If I switch glide mode fully on, see what happened there? C4 was the last note that was played. The synthesizer remembers that C4 was the last note that was played. Now that it's in glide mode, it will travel from there, whatever the last note was played, however long ago, down to the currently played note. So I've just been talking to you there for maybe 20 seconds. If I play a C5, it's travelled all the way up from C3 to C5. If it only gets half the way there before you let the key go, it basically the synthesizer will remember where it was on its journey, and that will be the point from which it will start next time. So if I set a pretty long glide and then play a really low note, now I let go before we got all the way down to the C1 that I wanted to play. If I now play a C, whatever it is, 6 up at the top of my keyboard, it's not going to travel the entire length of the keyboard. It's going to go from that tone that hopefully kind of part of your brain remembers. So now that I did reach the absolute upper limit, let's go all the way down to C1. Nice big deep bluff. And now any note that I play is going to travel from that bluff-laden C1. That's where I stopped. There we go. We got to our destination. So it's got this internal memory that it remembers the last frequency it output. Just to finish the story, by the way, I should have said, this glide feature works perfectly happily in polyphonic mode. It's just a little bit more difficult to demonstrate. You get all sorts of madness. So it's still got that, you know, where was I last kind of thing. Absolutely crazy. Wonderful. What this legato button over here does is it interrupts the amplifier envelope if more than one note is played. And don't forget, we're in monophonic mode here. It's much easier for me to demonstrate than it is to try to explain what's going on. If I set a pretty long attack and a relatively short release, so we've got this kind of string length attack. So each note I play has the long attack until I play multiple notes simultaneously. It stops the envelope from firing. You no longer get the long attack and you get the opportunity to play your combination between the two. So it's a performance thing which I'm absolutely terrible at, but that's what it does. Completely different effect from this legato effect, which is operating exclusively tied to the glide feature. Hold is really easy. That's all it does. Basically just disables the note release and every note will carry on playing. Of course we're in monophonic mode here. Volume, I don't need to explain that. This release knob here, this release button, deactivates the release in the amplifier envelope. Now I don't have a use for it. I imagine it's like a pedal based thing. To be able to activate and deactivate the release will give you like a piano effect, but it's not something I use. But literally if you turn that button off, you don't have a release phase. Turn it back on, there's the release. You can tune the synth to whatever you want. And this is just a test tone for tuning purposes. Again, just replicating the synth, that's all it's doing. And pitch range is pretty straightforward. This is the amount of the number of semitones that you go up on the pitch wheel. This value down here, sustain mode, I can't get it to do anything, to be absolutely honest with you. It says it defines if the sustain is cut or maintained if a note is re-triggered while being already in sustain phase. I can't make it do anything unusual in legacy or normal mode with just the keyboard. Maybe if you plug a sustain pedal in, which I don't have, then you'd get some different effect out of it. I don't know. If you know, please put it in the comments below. Help somebody else out, but I don't know what it does. Really quick look at both the chorus and the analog delay because they're so straightforward. Pretty much every VST these days has one. A pretty gorgeous chorus, to be absolutely honest with you. Gentle, less gentle again. But it's like a camera eye kind of thing, fantastic. And delay, again, we won't spend any time on. Just other than to say the stereo effects that you can get from these two delays, they're pretty lovely. You get some real absolutely gorgeous independent control of the delay. Fabulous. So that's the Prophet V covered. Next we'll dive into the VS and have a look what it's got to offer. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you then.